So this is a really important point here. When you have an Excel plugin like Flyline that reads from a database, you can do whatever sort of Excel-based programming you want to do to create your own interactive Excel-based application. And then your other tabs can really just act as sort of like a web application backend. So think about what you could do and what you might actually be able to replace with a setup like this. Hey everyone, Sam here from the team at Flyline. If you're part of an organization that manages a lot of data, but also needs to get that data into the hands of people who primarily use spreadsheets, Flyline is for you. Flyline is an Excel plugin that connects to data lakes and data warehouses, so it makes it really easy to get your data out of object storage and into Excel. I supported similar products on Wall Street for a long time, so there's a lot of experience baked into the platform, and here's a quick demo. Hope you enjoy. So you might be wondering why, if we're supposed to be demoing Flyline, an Excel plugin here, we're starting with a Python script. Well, the important thing to know about Flyline is that it works best when you want to connect Excel to a database that gets updated and refreshed over time so that you can always have the latest info or go back in time if you need to. So we're using this stock data as a way to simulate a database update, and in a second, we'll jump into Excel and pull this updated data that has flowed into our database. All right, let's do it. Okay, so now that we're actually in Excel, we can talk in more detail about what Flyline is and how it might be able to help you out. So I'm going to use a financial services example. I spent a number of years at Moody's Analytics and FactSet, so I'm just going with what I know here. But things like data lakes, data warehouses, Excel, obviously these tools are not industry specific, so don't get too hung up on the content. Okay? But what we're looking at here are a couple of factors that I pulled out of the Moody's Investor Services rating scorecard for the passenger airlines industry. Now, on the off chance anyone from Moody's is watching, I have divided the numbers by 4 because we're looking at quarterly data. Okay? But what we're going to do is pull data in for a couple of airlines and watch this sheet update so we can see where the airline's metrics might fall on a credit rating scale. So the first thing that we need to do is obviously grab the data that you just saw me uploading to our database. So I'm going to open Flyline. I'll go to S&P 500 financials, and then I'm actually going to filter down to one ticker for now, just to keep things simple. So let's go with Delta at first. I'll hit get data, and you see it just takes a second and all of Delta's data is pulled back to our screen. Now, because of the way that I set these formulas up and these charts, the spreadsheet actually looks for a ticker, but that's just an Excel thing that I did. You could do it however you want. So I type the ticker, and then you can see that the page updates automatically. So this is a really important point here. When you have an Excel plugin like Flyline that reads from a database, you can do whatever sort of Excel-based programming you want to do to create your own interactive Excel-based application. And then your other tabs can really just act as sort of like a web application backend. So think about what you could do and what you might actually be able to replace with a setup like this. Let's grab a couple more companies. So right now we have Delta. I want to grab a couple more airlines here. We'll keep our filters set to ticker for now because we're just trying to identify new firms. And I'm going to set these to equal to United, and we'll go with American as well. Now, you'll notice that as we add filters, Flyline gives us a logic bar. Because of the way that this database is set up, again, you saw me do it, we can't actually have a row that has all 3 companies. That's by design. So I need to change my individual filters from and to or, which basically means, okay, pull all of the data where it's either Delta or United or American, as opposed to all 3 at once. Once I do that, I can click Get Data, and you'll see that additional rows are added to my spreadsheet. If I jump back to the scorecard, now if I type UAL, and I can go back in time with them just to see how things have changed for United, or if I type AAL, you can see again, we are just reading from this data tab. So hopefully this all looks very cool and gives you a good idea of the sort of web development meets Excel type of applications that you can build using a plugin like Flyline. But what should not be lost on you is that it's also helpful just to be in the Excel environment. If you think about dashboard applications, if anyone spent time, I won't name names here, but working with interactive dashboards, they can be great, but you really lose the ability to get that sort of scratch paper type of feel that you get when you're working in the Excel environment. So there's no need to spend too much time on it, but if I just wanted to download all of the data for the S&P 500 companies for the past 5 quarters, which by the way, you probably saw that this is quite a bit more data that we're pulling in without sort of any change in performance, which should be encouraging for you. But I could take this data and do whatever I want with it. So again, you'd probably end up, if you had questions and wanted to do more digging, just downloading from your dashboard application to Excel anyways. So it's great to already be here when you need to be. All right. So want to keep this short, but hopefully this was an interesting overview in terms of what we do and how our product could help out your organization. And thank you very much for watching. And please do not hesitate to reach out if you want to learn more or possibly even take it for a spin at your firm. Thanks a lot.